Hi Soul Family, this is Mimi with Divination by Mimi. Welcome to your new moon in Scorpio, November 2017. This is going to happen at 6:42 a.m. Eastern Standard Time in the fourth quarter of Scorpio on Saturday, November 18th. So there's some interesting aspects occurring in Scorpio, ruled by Pluto, the Lord of the Underworld. This is the area, the eighth house of the natal chart, which has to do with sex, death, and other people's money. And that all sounds very naughty and so forth, but really what that's about is the things that we don't talk about in polite company. So it's much more than that. It's that stuff that we don't necessarily like to show, the part of ourselves we don't like to show to other people, our shadow side. And until, as Jung has suggested, until we integrate it and see it and look at it and heal it and process it and make it part of ourselves, it won't go away. It will continue to kind of haunt us. And it will pop up. When I say it, I'm talking about these old wounds or old experiences that motivate our current actions or inactions. So it will motivate maybe why we date the same type of person, or why we get so far, just so far in our success, and then it peters out. We never go to the pinnacle of the success. Why is that? That's what the eighth house is all about, those underlying motivations for why we do or don't do what we do. So a lot is occurring, not only this new moon in Scorpio in the fourth quarter, but there are big planets making big aspects to other planets. So let's talk about what's in the sky at that time as it is. At that point in time, we will have Neptune still retrograde, although it's going to be going direct shortly after. But on the 18th, it will be retrograde still in the sign of Pisces. This is the disintegrated energy of there's no you or me, there's only us. It's there's no boundaries between you and me. And that energy being retrograde in Pisces, Neptune's energy like that, is kind of revisiting old feelings. Pisces is a very spiritual constellation. And some astrologers don't even equate the element of water with it. They actually give it ether, which is a spiritual element, like the fifth element. So it is very much about the collective from the perspective of the soul, that we are all one vibrating being. But that doesn't always operate well in the physical world. So in the day-to-day activities of this manifested physical world, where gravity applies and all of those things, it's kind of difficult to incorporate that there's no you or me, there's only we mentality, which is why we have difficulty dealing with some of these high pressure emotional instances like all this activity in Scorpio. So just again, to recap what's in the sky, Pisces has Neptune retrograde on the 18th, as well as Chiron, the wounded healer, again revisiting old hurts that motivate us, in Pisces in retrograde. We have Uranus in retrograde in Aries. So Uranus, the ruler of Aquarius, is a very unpredictable, active, progressive energy. It likes things to change, and it's in a very fiery constellation. So that fire is feeding that, agitating it a little bit. Not necessarily a bad thing, but it doesn't like things to stagnate. Uranus likes to change things. So it's making interesting aspects with all of these planets that are in Scorpio. And let me go over those. Venus will be entering Scorpio by that day. So Venus will be in Scorpio at that time. Jupiter will be in Scorpio at that time. Obviously, Venus is a big one. It lends itself to amorous endeavors or sexual endeavors. She intensifies and brings the beauty, the sensuality, the relationship, the valuing of another, of the partner of another, not the partner of another, but the other. And just the sensual nature of being human, in Scorpio, which is a sexy, sexy constellation. Again, that's the eighth house, death and sex. It's all about the stuff that motivates us, and it's the intellectual side of sex. So November is a sexy time anyway, but with all this activity in there, you might feel a little bit more amorous than usual. But Jupiter is the big one that's there. So, and this is the reason why Uranus that I was going on about a moment ago is relevant. Jupiter is an expansive energy. It expands and exacerbates whatever it touches, and it illuminates it. So it's in the underworld. That's what the 8th house is. That's what the land in the constellation of Scorpio is. So when Jupiter is there, it's illuminating these things that are in the unconscious, these things that are in shadow, these things that motivate us, that are there whether we look at them or not, and they're there, right? Whether we brush them under the rug, they don't go away. They're still there. But Jupiter in there expands it and illuminates it, so we can't ignore it. And on top of that, with Uranus making its interesting aspects with Jupiter and the Moon and Venus in Scorpio, you're also going to get this, okay, we see what's there, we got to change it. That's what the progressive, non-stagnant, change-inducing energy of Uranus is. So we have Jupiter looking at what's there and forcing us to look and to process what we see. You know, I pick the same partner over and over again, and it fails because of this that happened to me then. Those kinds of things. Then Uranus forces us to think, okay, no, we're looking at it, we're processing it, now we're going to change it. So we're going to have to look at it, we're going to have to process it, like it or not. It's part of you, look at it, now we're going to change it. Okay, so as unsettling as it can be, it's actually a very positive thing. What else? Oh, let's see. Mercury at that point in time will be in Sagittarius, which might have us feeling inquisitive about a new subject, a new culture, maybe wanting us to dive in and learn more about it. We also have Saturn in Sagittarius. We have Pluto direct in Capricorn, and Saturn will be heading back to Capricorn in December. So that's a big experience. That's going to be a big event for Capricorns, but also for institutions, because Saturn is about the law and government and finances and those things that are kind of institutions. I think, so when that happens, that's a big deal. Things that have been going on for a while are going to reach a culmination, or they're going to change. So lots happening toward the end of this year. What else? What else can I tell you? I think that's it. There's the lunation I just discussed, and that's what this is about. This is the new moon, which is about planting seeds of intention, starting things in Scorpio. It's a very exciting time. A lot of activity in Scorpio, so get ready to dig deep and unearth some things that maybe you haven't looked at in a while. We all will be doing this, actually. So we're going to be doing a 3-card pull. This will be based on the supernal triangle, or the top 3 sephira or placement of the Tree of Life. So if you follow the Kabbalistic Tree of Life, this would be Keter, Chokmah, and Binah. If you follow the Kemetic Tree of Life, this would be Amen, Asur, Tehudi, and Sekert. Jungian would put it at superconscious, conscious, and subconscious, and that's the analogy I'm going to use for the reading. Excuse me. I am using the Thoth deck, or the Tehudi deck. This is painted, illustrated, designed beautifully and thoroughly by Lady Frida Harris, and with input from Aleister Crowley. He gets most of the credit, but actually, if you look at it, the work is hers. It is amazing work. Lots of symbolism, all kinds. All right, so let's get started. What's going on for us, the soul family, for the new moon in Scorpio, November 18th, 2017. New moon in Scorpio for our soul family, collective soul, sentient life forms, our united consciousness. What do we need to know? Great Hecate, cosmic soul, great mother, creatrix of the universe, Titaness, God. What do we need to know collectively as we enter Scorpio? Whoa. That was too many. Sorry. As we enter Scorpio season, and as this new moon goes black in the shadows of the 8th house, the land of Scorpio, what do we need to know The new moon. Thank you. This card keeps coming up a lot. Stability. Superconscious is describing stability to us. Conscious mind, pleasure, 6 of Cups. Number of balance. Subconscious, abundance. This is very positive. I think what we're being reminded here, so the first position is superconscious. This is the 4 of Wands. This energy is Mars in Venus. So those are polar opposites. Although they're the lovers in mythology, they are polar opposites. They are the archetypal male and the archetypal female. And I don't mean that as in a gender conforming way. It is an energy. There's a feminine and masculine energy. We all have it, anima animus. This is the 2 opposing archetypes meeting. And it creates a stability. It's like a positive and negative, or I don't know, but there's something where you have 2 of 2 different things and they balance themselves out to 0. That's basically what it's saying. It's like 2 polar opposites actually fit together and create a stable, and that's what the 4 is. The 4 of Wands is stability. It's the green of Netzach, which is Venus. It's 4 wands, and the wands are of various levels of adepthood in a magical system, Golden Dawn. There are a lot of them. And basically it's saying all elements are present. I don't mean like fire, air, earth, water. I mean all necessary elements for stability are present. Therefore, we have completion. 6 of Cups is the balance of pleasure. And I believe this is the romance and sensuality that's on our mind. And then the 3 of Cups and abundance and subconscious mind is letting us know that, and that energy is actually Mercury in Cancer. That's letting us know that there's stability to be found as we go through this, as we experience this change. Although it feels tumultuous, although it feels as though while we're unearthing, as though the ground is opening up sometimes beneath us. And again, there will be a very high energy, very intense emotions that spikes sensuality and sexuality, and it spikes love, but it can also cause tension or friction. Despite all that we're going through and that we're feeling, this kind of roller coaster of finding things out, processing them, moving beyond them, and fixing them and healing from them, which is what basically this time of year and all of this activity in Scorpio is about. We're still going to be okay. We still have what it takes. Thelemic concept, Crowley's ideology about love is the law, love under will, it really is. Cups. Love is everything, because we were never born and we never die. We have always been and we always will be. We're eternal. And regardless of how it feels as we're going through these changes and learning these new things, we're fine. As long as we remember that love is the law, we are fine. We are stable. It may look like things are falling apart, but it's going to be okay. Breathe into it and remember this one thing, and this just came to me. Remember, it's all within you. Everything is within. There's no out there. The whole world is in here. So as you're experiencing these highs and lows, as we investigate these feelings, or take a look at old patterns and things like that, or even not just individually, personally, but on the world stage as we're seeing this happen. As we're processing this information, just remember everything is within. There is no finding an answer on the outside. There is no fixing a problem on the outside. It all is within. And that's why this season in Scorpio, this new moon in Scorpio, and this illuminating of shadow in Scorpio, because by Jupiter, is all part of our growth. It's all going to be okay because it's all within. I hope that made sense. Basically, it's going to be an interesting ride there. We're looking at there's a lot of cups here, and we're looking at a lot of interacting with people, sharing love, possibly new romance. And if not romance, perhaps just, intimacy, whatever that means to you. And just remember that that interaction, that human experience of love is everything. And regardless of what we experience or see, it all will be okay. It's all stable. Okay? And it's all within us. Everything's within us. I know I'm driving that point home, but it's really being shown to me. Everything is within, the whole world. Okay. All right, soul family, I hope that helps. If you have questions, leave them in the comment section below. Otherwise, I will see you next month for the astrological readings. Have a wonderful new moon in Scorpio and the rest of the November and holiday season. Take care.